Last lesson, what did we do? We established the default loan for us to compare to in class over and over again. And then I also showed you what happens when the interest rate increases. Interest rate increase is not a strategy, it's just something that can possibly happen, okay? The first strategy that you can do in your assignment is to deal with larger repayments. When you have a loan situation, you solve for PMT, you're finding the minimum repayment required to pay out the loan in the assigned time period. So if I remind you about the default, if I remind you of the default loan from last lesson, when we solved for PMT, it came to $2,684.11 per month to pay off the $500,000 loan over 30 years. That's the minimum to do that. You can choose to pay more. One strategy to minimize interest on a home loan is to choose to make larger repayments on the loan. This reduces your balance and interest faster, so paying off the loan faster, which reduces the interest you pay. But it must be kept in mind that you're getting a long-term benefit of paying less interest, but that's balanced by paying more each time. So you can think of this as short-term pain for some long-term gain. Mathematically, what does it mean? You decide what your PMT is. The interest rate, the principal, and the final value all remain the same. All that happens is if you're choosing to pay more every month, the time it takes to pay off the loan is going to be less. So you solve for n and it's going to be shorter. So let's demonstrate that. Consider the default home loan from 2024. How much interest would be saved by paying $100 more per month? So I'm going to copy and paste what we had from last lesson here. This was the default loan. Okay? If I'm choosing to pay $100 more per month, what number is going to change here on purpose? What am I going to change on purpose in PMT? So that's no longer what I'm solving for. This is going to be 2684.11. Take away a further 100 because remember the payments are in the negatives. So it's negative 2784.11. And based on what I said here about mathematically, what am I going to solve for? Because I'm paying larger every month. What's going to change because I'm choosing to pay the n? So I solve for n. Stars there. Go into my TVM solver. Finance, TVM. 500 grand. I'm going to change this to 2784.11. What do I want to owe the bank after, at the end of the loan? 0. So alpha, enter. That tells me it's going to take 331.77 months. Then I need to find the interest. So interest on the loan. Loan interest calculation is PMT, so 2784.11 times by 331.77 payments, take away PV of 500,000 minus nothing. Second quit, 2784.11 times by 331.77, take away 500 grand. So if I chose to pay $100 more per month, I'm only going to pay $423,684.17 in interest. Is that more or less than the default? So if I go back to the default loan, the amount of interest you paid was $466.279. So interest saved is going to be the OG amount of interest, take away what I'm paying with the strategy. So 466,279.6 minus 423,684.17. By paying $100 more every month, I'm going to save $42,595.43. If I pay more than 100, am I going to save more interest? If I pay less than 100, am I going to save less interest? Okay, so your DI needs to show a combination, a range of the strategies to be able to say that. If I've only shown what happens if I pay $100 more per month, have I established a trend yet? That's a one-off. So you'd want to show, okay, what happens if I pay $200? Then you can go, oh, it saves more interest the more that I choose to pay off every month. Then you can talk about the trends. Okay, so I'll stop there.